Hello, everyone. That's the best sound ever made.
You're supposed
by
to let
anything.
the PlayStation logo go first, then you say hello, everyone.
Hey, I don't care. That, my
Where's
voice...
Where's the Sony, computer, where's the opening? You only had half of the start-up screen.
Here's the thing, I'm playing off of the digital version, off the PlayStation 3, off the PSN store, because I don't have a physical copy of the original game. I do for the second game, but not for the first and third games. But sadly, because of that, the first and third games on the PSN store, as well as, well, the second game, have problem with, slowdown occasionally, and with the third game a lot. Mainly the music. You can definitely notice it by the music speeding up and slowing down very often. That's because these aren't really great ports.
Yeah.
Okay, rolling.
Well, for anyone who is not aware, I love this game!
Really?
For a Dragon's Age.
Yes.
We now have 12,000.
I've never touched this game, or any other game in the series.
I played the
What about
DS
this
game.
nasty Gnort character? Now
The
I
DS
understand
game?
he's found
Yeah.
a
What
magic
game
It was
that?
alive long
Shadow
enough to
Legacy?
actually have a DS
for his
game.
cause.
Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Shadow Legacy?
I
Maybe.
thought this series died in the early
He has been
2000s.
contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon King.
Then
No
the
threat!
generation later, you had Skylanders.
That does it.
But now Spyro's back with the remake, but it's still back and I'm waiting for it and I love it. And by the time of this video's upload, it's going to be the day the remake comes out, so you're going to have Spyro to watch, so that's going to be nice.
Just hope you get it at a good time. It actually comes out on that day.
Oh yeah, it will be.
Oh, I love when games have you play for like 5 seconds before throwing more cutscene in your face. Here, walk forward. Oh, more cutscene.
Uh-oh, an error has occurred. I have been signed out of the PlayStation Network.
Ah, recording old games on newer hardware.
Ripperoni.
At least you won't have a bunch of people logging on and off.
When it comes to, Spyro here, that dragon we just saved, the first dragon, that's our first thank you for releasing me. I'll be keeping track, trust me. I'm sure future me is gonna make an edit about that.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro.
Maybe.
We have to have something to replace the Sonic reference counter.
Ripperoni.
Something that's not so time consuming and work.
Yeah. So for anyone who is unaware, again, I love this game and I've played this game countless times. I feel like this is probably, out of like your 3D platformers, or first 3D platformers when it comes to Sonic Adventure, Mario 64, Crash, or Spyro, I'd say Spyro is probably the best out of all of them.
Where's
love it.
nasty
Really?
Gnort? I'll torch him.
Yeah.
That's a controversial opinion.
Spyro, you have much to learn first. Do you know what the
care. I love
dragonfly
Spyro.
following you is
But
doing?
yeah, I think this has,
His name
like,
is
the level
Sparks.
design is great.
He's helping
I
and
feel like it's very
protecting you.
open and
Keep
free,
an eye on him
and
see what I mean.
overall I just think it's really fun.
That waterfall looks super detailed.
No, I have
It
said
still
that
has a
I
lot
have
of-
I've said that I have no experience with this game. I don't know if I really should be saying this, but I do have a little bit of experience with this game by watching Brain Scratch. Brain Scratch.
Again. Say
Brain Scratch.
again. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say
Brain Scratch.
one more goddamn time.
Do it, so...
Oh, wow. Nice. Have you watched your full playthrough, I imagine?
Sort of listen to it. I don't really watch Brain Scratch. I more just listen to them talk while I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah. So, Fisk, do you have any experience with Spyro? I don't even know that.
Just a little bit. Not the whole story. It, sadly.
What is your experience with Spyro?
Like I said before, the DS version. I forget what game it was, though.
So, it's either Shadow Legacy, that awful, awful RPG, or, one of the Legend of Spyro games. on DS.
Probably. I don't remember there being any RPG. I remember you have to go through like the level, and at the end you'd beat a giant dragon. Pretty hard sometimes, depending on what level you were on. The first one was easy, but the second one got hard, so I never got past that part.
I know, yeah, this is the first of, I believe, 4 hub worlds, 4 or 5. I love the hub worlds in this game. They're very open. They're basically their own levels, which I like.
Dragon Mouth, but you are not yet ready, Spyro. First, you must complete one of the other artisan lands.
I must complete one level in order to gain access to that level, and you can access any level at any point out of like a selection, again, through the hub world. I love this game. I love everything about it. I'm just gonna get all my gushing out in the first part. I'm just gonna say I love this game. I love it.
Which
I love
Spyro game is it for the PS3 that like still costs like $60? Even though it was like an early PS3 game?
Any PS3 Spyro game is going to be one of the Legend of Spyro games.
Just that price tag alone is why if I ever do like review these games, I'm not going past the PS1 like trilogy, because I'm not paying $60 for a bunch of PS3 games that I heard are really meh, and that fans of the series like to ignore their existence.
Yeah, as long as you're not playing like Spyro Enter the Dragonfly, you're fine, because that's basically the 06 of the Spyro franchise.
Is it 06 of the Spyro franchise as in like it's like Sonic 06 really buggy and awful? Is it like, oh, this is the 06 of the Spyro franchise, and then it, you know, like they say Metroid Other M is the 06 of Metroid, and like
plummeting into
I don't get that.
Because it killed the franchise? Because if you're saying, is it because it's buggy and glitchy and awful, and or is it because, you know, it killed the franchise? The answer is yes to both of those. It's both.
So it's glitchy and buggy and awful.
Yes, and it killed the franchise.
Well, Other M didn't kill the Metroid franchise.
Well, it kind of did for 8 years.
So you're
7,
saying
8 years.
Super Metroid killed the Metroid franchise?
It was that type of thing where
And
it's
Metroid
like,
1 killed the Metroid franchise. There was like a 4-year gap between Metroid 1 and Metroid 2.
Yeah, thinking about that, to be honest, like, the Other M killed the Metroid franchise was kind of true. Nobody really knew what would happen afterwards, but it's that type of thing where, now that you mention it, it's the type, oh, well, like, between Super Metroid and Metroid Prime, there was, like, how long a wait? Like, 6 years?
8.
8.
8 whole years,
So-
and there was a 4-year gap between Metroid 1 and Metroid 2.
Yeah, people complain about Zelda having their releases spread out. Metroid...
Yeah, in
And
the
Metroid
early
got-
2000s, they milked Prime by going like Prime and Fusion on the same day. Then they released Prime 2, then Zero Mission, then Prime 3, then Other M, and then like the momentum just was dead by then.
This is me trying to decide what level I want to pick first.
Have you collected anything yet? Like within the last few seconds of running around in circles?
Not much, no, but I collected a bunch of gems and freed a bunch of
Yeah,
dragons.
that
and I'm
was
just like,
before
alright.
you were going around in circles.
Yeah, I didn't do much when I was running around in circles. Sometimes in this game, when I'm just thinking, I wonder what level I'm going to play, I just like to move around, just explore things.
You just ran
I don't
into
do
a
it that
sheep
much,
and
though.
it disappeared. It like combusted into dust.
Yeah. Anytime you kill any, like, wildlife or enemies, enemies give you gems, and wildlife, if you kill it, they turn into butterflies, which are used for your dragonfly
Wait.
companion in the back, Sparks, to eat. and that's how you regain health.
Wait,
the
so
color
you-
indicates how much health you have.
You recover health by destroying the wildlife.
Yes.
And Peter wants to complain about the Tanuki suit.
Yeah, well, in this case, you're an animal killing an animal, so it makes sense.
Yeah, but you're taking a leaf and you get like a pajamas, and Peter wants to whine about that. I've been watching a lot of Mario videos on YouTube, and I've seen multiple YouTubers bring up Peter complaining about the Tanuki leaf and the Tanuki suit.
No thanks. See ya.
So I'm silenced now, I guess?
Yeah, it's like, oh, he said something, that's the end. I was just trying to, because my video was buffering and I was gone by like a few seconds. I'm back up now. Alright. So yeah, just make sure. What time are we at?
10:55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 11. 01, 02.
Alright. Got it. But yeah, right there I just collected a key, and there I can go under there, that little well that I just passed. I can go down there and get a bunch of gems. I didn't do that. Now I'm exploring the rest of the level first. These levels are very open.
Yeah,
Allow you
I
to
don't
do
see a lot of
things.
platforming though.
Yeah, the opening levels are less about platforming, more about exploration. The other levels, the later levels, are still about exploration, just more focused on the platforming as well. It gets more treacherous, more complicated as you go on. So I know none of you have experience with the Spyro Trilogy, but as far as from what you're seeing, what do you think of it?
It's fun.
It graphically looks pretty good for PS1. Gameplay, it looks a bit empty. Like, there's these wide open areas with some enemies and some gems, but no, I'm just seeing a bunch of green towers. I'm not seeing really any other big landmarks.
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the X button at the top of a jump. And try pressing the triangle
Yeah, there
button
is a
to
lot
drop
when it
down
when it
in
comes to
mid-
Spyro. This game was actually one of the first, if not the first game, to have, well, this sort of dynamic draw system type thing, where it's like, instead of just having, like, levels just like sort of, the level just sort of load in and pop in as you get closer to it, levels instead, further on into the distance, the textures of those levels and their model becomes simpler and simpler, and the closer you get to them, the more detailed they
So,
become.
like Mario's model in Mario 64?
Yeah, only it's being done to the whole level.
I think Galaxy did something like that, like planetoids in the distance would be like almost flat
When you free
and
a
very
dragon,
low
step
poly,
on
but
one of their
once
platforms
you take a
for saving
launch
your
stall,
progress.
like it loads
That could
in
be
the
useful if
actual
you run into trouble.
section of the
Not
level.
that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
When it comes to, what is it, this game, the entire trilogy basically, has some of my weird things to love, but it's like, I love this game's loading screens, as weird as that is, because anytime you go from the hub world to a level, you just sort of go there after, say, a very, very quick loading screen, and the transition is very smooth, and then any collectibles you gather along the way sort of just explode, and then you get all of them coming together in this little, like, you know, treasure chest. I don't know why it's satisfying. A lot of the things, like, when you think that
Watch the dragonfly,
Collectathon needs to
Spyro.
feel
His color
satisfying,
indicates his power.
because otherwise,
When he
like,
eats
why
butterflies,
collect things? It's just
stay
like a
strong.
means to an end.
Like me.
Like, Spyro's collecting feels and sounds very satisfying. You want to collect things. It feels right. There's that little chest.
Yay. Got all the rupees.
but these
The
are colored
rubies?
wrong.
The
So
Spyro
I've
games
noticed-
clearly take place in the same world as the CDI games.
I noticed the
I don't
red
know.
gems only 1.
Yeah, red are worth 1, green are worth 2, blue are worth 5, I think.
Yeah.
Yellow are worth 10, and then purple are worth 25.
It's
think
all
that's it.
wrong. It's not the same as rupees. I 0 out of 10. Not enough like Zelda.
Where's my Spyro Zelda game?
Where's the Master Sword?
Horrible electric force field in my fantasy setting.
Open world, huh?
You know, that seems kind of lazy because, you know, they have all these hills. Why not have a hill that's really steep that keeps you from getting out of bounds instead of some magical electric force field? They could make it pretty too. Put some trees on that hill. Have some. I mean, the trees aren't the best looking, but they could have tried.
Yeah. I always keep in mind, like, this was one of the first real big open world games. This was like with Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie. And this was on the PlayStation, so the levels are a lot more open. And 64, they were smaller, they were compact, but they were smaller. With the PlayStation, you're able to be a lot bigger. And while the earlier levels are a lot less, well, like, there's a lot less going on, they're a lot more empty, later levels have a lot going on in them.
Yeah, that's just a memory thing. Can't fit as big as stuff on a small little cartridge.
Yeah.
Of course, now the tides have turned. You can fit so much more on a small little cartridge than you can on a Blu-ray disc.
Yep.
I think the max for Blu-ray, if it's dual layer, is like 50 gigabytes. Meanwhile, you can have like cartridges that are in the 250 gigabyte range. Just like SD cards show that alone.
Now that I have collected everything, I am now going back to a portal to get back to the hub world so I can move on to the next level.
Interesting.
Yes.
It is bugging me how developers though keep using, like, treating the Nintendo Switch like it's just the PS4 and Xbox One when it comes to storage. Because Nintendo designed the system, that 32 gigabytes may sound like nothing, but for save files, that is plenty of space. They expect you to use physical media.
Yeah, with the Switch, I'm never going to download anything.
Well,
like,
you have to
digitally,
because
any
third
games,
parties
really.
are treating it like there's a bunch of space on it.
Yeah.
Even with physical
When it
copies.
comes to Switch having a small amount of space, I feel like that is a problem. You could say just buy another micro SD card, but you shouldn't have to buy another micro SD card.
I think
Just
you
have a
should
decent
have
amount
to
of
buy an
space.
SD card if you want digital games. I think that's fine. But if you buy physical, god damn it, Nintendo, don't let the third-party developers treat it like the PlayStation 4 where you have to download 100 gigabytes worth of stuff. Make them put it all on the cartridge.
The thing that I really don't want to happen is in current year, in current month, October of 2018, this video is now dated, but like when it comes to Nintendo Switch's update, like getting a new Nintendo Switch, I hope that doesn't happen. It's been all but confirmed, but it really should
I
not
think
happen.
that people are they're probably gonna have some sort of motherboard revision to help with heating and stuff. All consoles go through it. I mean, the Genesis, the Marvel 2 alone has like 7 board revisions. Like, it's just a board revision, I'm sure,
Yeah.
and some idiot saw that they're making a new version and thought, oh, Switch XL, Switch Pro, Switch Mini, something.
Yeah, I feel like the problem though is that like, if we get a new Nintendo Switch and it's like, oh, well, you know, this is a new version, has more
Nintendo's
space and
not
everything.
that stupid.
But like it, yeah, but I'm just
all the
hoping it
DS
doesn't happen
revisions, they
because,
didn't
like,
release until years after the previous model came out, where the sales were starting to slow down.
see, I'm just hoping the rumor isn't true that it's gonna be like, oh, only this game can be played on the new hardware or something
Nintendo's
like that.
not stupid enough to do that. People keep saying that because they want that, because the Switch is underpowered compared to the PS4 and Xbox One. But they don't think about how... Oh, you ran out of time.
Yeah, these are flying levels. You're on autopilot and you just fly around destroying different objectives, obstacles, and you gain time for everything you do.
But people just don't realize that the Switch, for being a portable thing, is really powerful. It is more powerful than a lot of high-end phones, and people look at screen resolution and say, hey, this crappy phone I have that cost me $1,000 has like a 2160p screen and the Switch has 720p screen, but they don't realize that resolution isn't everything, and that everything rendered on the Switch is probably going to have much better textures and render distance than any mobile game. I think Fortnite is a good example. On the Switch, it has some pretty good textures, good render distance, good frame
Well,
rate.
our channel's
Yep,
dead now. Someone just mentioned
Channel's
Fortnite.
dead now. But on Apple devices, on the iPhone 10, Fortnite does not look nearly as good as the Switch version. Just because the Switch has more power than a phone, just because it has a lower resolution means jack shit.
Like, I will tell you, sir, that the Switch version of Fortnite may look, well, superior, but it is not a superior version of Fortnite. This is a very sophisticated process, putting Fortnite to multiple other platforms. See, everyone's just silenced again because Fortnite is just that good of a game. No one can, like, try to... I can't say that with a straight face. But this was the, yeah, this was the problem. There we go. That was the first flying level. Those are some of my favorite parts of the game.
Yeah, you did it this time. New record.
New record!
Kind of reminds me of Kingdom Hearts, in a way.
The end.